What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, for this video, we are going to be jumping into the limited series, which is going to be Shazam. This is going to be issue 1, dropping us into the infinite frontier, picking up from the pages of Teen Titans Academy. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with Teen Titans Academy, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with that. Now, this is written by Tim Sheridan, pencils are Clayton Henry, inks are the same, and this story is really going to be explaining to us how the events of Future State take place, what is going on with Billy Batson, and how come Shazam is losing his powers. Now, with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we jump into issue number 1 of Shazam, we are picking up in New York. And we have the Teen Titans going against the monstrositous Chemo. And while the Teen Titans are doing their best trying to hold off Chemo, he seems to be stronger, he seems to be bigger, and it seems to be harder for the Teen Titans to be able to take him on. And with Roadhouse down on the ground evacuating all of the civilians the best they can, Nightwing makes the call to go ahead and call in some heavy guns. But before they even pick up their phones to make that call, this is where we see the arrival of the one and only Shazam. And we see Shazam coming in, grabbing Chemo and flying him straight up. But in the midst of this, he sees an image, one that is so vivid and so real. And this image is the Rock of Eternity exploding. And just like that, Shazam falls from the sky. Nobody knowing exactly what happened, all they're seeing is Shazam falling. And so Donna rushes in to try to save him, grabbing him before he hits the ground. And with that, Raven steps in and she completely gets rid of Chemo in an instant. Don't really know why they didn't do that before, but we'll go with it. But that's what it's going to pick us up a little bit later at Titan Tower. Now, as it stands, everybody is a little bit worried about Billy right now, but nobody is more worried than Billy himself. Because as it stands, he doesn't understand what is going on. Somehow he is losing his power. This has been happening more and more to him, and it's becoming harder and harder. And that's because abilities are turning themselves on and off at will, and he has absolutely no control over this. And so he goes and tries to talk to Raven to try to figure out exactly what is happening to him. With Raven currently being in the middle of a session with Dane, Dane go ahead and makes his exit so that these two can have their conversation. And with Billy sitting down, he goes over what happened. He goes over seeing the Rock of Eternity explode. And so he's came to Raven to try to figure out exactly what is happening. Because as it stands, he has no communication with the wizard. It has been months, and he has no clue on how to contact him or where he even is. And on top of all of this, Mary and Freddy, they have been calling him non-stop. But at the end of the day, he doesn't know what to tell them, so he doesn't answer their calls. I mean, what is he going to tell them? I'm sorry you don't have powers anymore. I can't give them to you. I don't know what to do. And so Billy is in a really rough place right now. He's lacking the self-confidence. He's lacking any kind of security in himself. He is just struggling so much right now, ignoring the fact that he can't connect to his Shazam alter ego. He is an adolescent kid slowly turning into adulthood, having more experience, more knowledge, have more trials and tribulations than anybody else at this academy. It's extremely hard for him to walk around as Billy Batson and nobody know that he is Shazam. And while Billy is sitting in the hallway about to get in an argument with Brick, Starfire makes her arrival to let him know that she wants to talk. And with them going into her office, she asks pretty much what everybody else has asked. What the heck is going on with you? Because at the end of the day, no matter who started all of that, you being Shazam, you being Billy Batson, you should have ended that. Because as it stands, all of these kids, they need somebody, they need a peer to look up to. And even though they can't know who you are, or you don't want them to know who you are right now, they need somebody to look up to. But in the midst of this conversation, this is when they get a notification that a LexCorp satellite is falling out of orbit, and so the two of them go to kick it into high gear. Going and running out of the school, Starfire shoots into the sky, and Billy Batson running alongside her, screaming Shazam the entire time, saying it multiple times with absolutely nothing happening. And then he gets to the doorway and it finally activates. The lightning bolt comes down and we see Shazam go flying into the sky. But it's only a matter of seconds before Billy goes falling out of the sky yet again, because his powers have failed him. And as we see him transform from Shazam back into Billy, he goes falling down to the ground. All of his classmates now seeing that Billy is Shazam. He almost turns into freaking roadkill, but that's when Superboy makes his arrival, rescuing both Billy and grabbing the satellite. He brings Billy down to the ground and goes to take the satellite over back to Lex Luthor. And so now everybody knows that Billy is Shazam, and this is going to make everything so much harder on him. And he tries to hurry off. He hurries off and goes to his room, asking his roommate if he can use the H-dial, but Montez tells him no. Like, there's no way I'm going to let you use it. It's just not going to happen. But he lets him know that he does have a visitor inside the room. And so Billy going into his room, this is where he runs into Mary. And Mary is here to talk to Billy because he has been ignoring them for quite some time now. And the big issue right now is Freddy is not okay. Freddy is in the hospital right now, and the doctors, they have no clue why, but right now he is just getting worse. Now, of course, Billy knows this. He feels the guilt of this, and he tries to show Mary that he can't transform into Shazam. Yelling out the name, nothing happens. But Mary tells him, regardless of your powers, you need to go see Freddy, because right now he needs his best friend. He doesn't need Shazam, he doesn't need somebody in a cape. He needs his friend to be there for him right now. But Billy just feels too bad, feeling like it's his fault that his friend's sickness has come back. His friend is now sitting in the hospital, dying, not knowing how long he has. It could be years, it could be months, it could be days. And so as it stands, he has absolutely no clue what to do. And Mary asks him about, what about Dr. Fate? Have you talked to him yet? And of course, Billy's like, I haven't seen him either. Like, anybody I could talk to, I haven't seen them. But Mary informs him that she saw Dr. Fate. He is in the building right now talking to the rest of the Teen Titans. And so Mary tells Billy to go and talk to Dr. Fate and figure out exactly what the heck is going on with you. And then tomorrow, ensure that you come by to see Freddy. Now, picking up with the Teen Titans and Dr. Fate. He has come here to let them know that they have a problem. The Justice League Dark has been monitoring what they can only describe as a massive celestial event. Not to be confused with another crisis event. This is not what that is. Or at least, it's not there yet. But he lets them know that there has been a temporal in nature, and it is occurring now in multiple locations throughout all of space. Something has been, and will be ripping its way across space-time. And as it stands, the Green Lantern's central battery on Oa, it's been destroyed. The Speed Force barrier is currently compromised, and now the Rock of Eternity has been displaced. It is no longer sitting at the center of the universe. And while they're having this conversation, Billy is eavesdropping on everything being said. And Dr. Fate continues on letting them know that the Rock of Eternity, it's been displaced to the Underrealm. And as it stands, they really don't know why any of this is affecting the powers of Shazam. But as it stands, it is affecting it. And unless the Eternity is rightfully restored, Shazam, Billy, and all of those he shared powers with are going to continue to remain affected. And so the Titans, they all agree to help Dr. Fate, to accompany him back to the Hall of Justice and figure out what the best course of action is here. And they all agree to keep this from Billy, at least for the time being. Because the last thing they want is Billy rushing off and trying to get to the Underrealm and possibly risking his own life in the process. And of course, Billy eavesdropping on this whole conversation, going back to his room. He's not going to sit here idly by as Freddy slowly dies and he loses all of his power. And as he's packing his things, he tries to tell his roommate again, like, let me use the H-dial. Like, I really need to be able to get to the Underrealm. And he tells him no. Like, there's no way I'm going to let you do this. But this is when they get interrupted by a knock on the door. That knock coming from Dane. And Dane here is offering his help. He's offering his help to Billy. And they ask, how do you even know about any of this? And he tells them that there's no time. That if they're gonna do this, they have to go now. Now, Billy tells him that he has to do this on his own. He can't risk anybody else coming with him and them ended up getting hurt in the process. But Dane has his own personal reasons for wanting to go down there. And so he just wants to accompany him and he'll explain it to him all along the way. But right now he's asking for Billy to trust him. And even though Billy has no clue who he is, right now Dane believes that they need each other more than ever to be able to knock this out and be able to get to the Underrealm. Because as it stands, the only way Billy knows how to actually get into the Underrealm is through the Themyscira. And so it would probably take him weeks, if not longer, to actually be able to get to the Underrealm. And what Dane is proposing is to be able to take him to the Underrealm right now. Because of all his studying and his working, being the star pupil of Raven, he can open up a gateway that brings them to hell immediately. And that will be where this issue ends. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this issue, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with Billy. Why doesn't he have his powers? Or why are they messing up so much? How the heck did everything happen in Future State? And I really think that this series is going to be what really explains everything. How the Rock of Eternity ended up where it is, where the wizard is, and why Billy ultimately has to end up staying in hell in the Future State event. So all in all, I think the writing was absolutely fantastic. I think it's really well done. They really know how to write both Billy and Shazam. Having the appearance of Dr. Fate is always freaking awesome. And I think this story has tons and tons of a potential. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.